Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm back with yet another festive mug, this time just in time to celebrate Easter. So in this video, I'll show you how to make this cute and adorable bunny mug, and stay until the end and I'll show you exactly how I embroider the face as well. This pattern is super easy, beginner friendly, and it's quick to make. If you're looking for the written pattern as well, it's available for free on my blog. I will link it below. And I will show you as well a little snippet of our play kitchen. If you'd like to see more pictures of the play kitchen, it's available on my Instagram. I do this for every holiday for my toddler. The other patterns as well for the mugs are available on my blog. And last thing before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. That would help my channel tremendously. So with that said, let's get to what we need to make this pattern. So as you saw, the first bunny that I made was purple, and I decided to make a second one in this nice pale blue-green color for Easter, nice pastel color. This is the color Mint by Bernat Softy Baby. This is light yarn. For the coffee, you'll need a little bit of brown yarn as well, a little bit of pink for the nose, a little bit of white for the whiskers, and a little bit of black for the eyes. Throughout, I used a 3mm hook, and we'll also need scissors, uh, what's that called? A stitch marker, some needles, and stuffing material as well. Okay, so to start, we'll be starting with the mug, and we'll be doing 6 single crochets in a magic ring. So I'm going to loop my yarn around my fingers to create my magic ring. Going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 6 single crochet into the loop. This is my first single crochet. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I'm going to grab my tail and pull to close the hole. For round 2, we're going to do an increase all around. That means we're going to do 2 single crochet per stitch all around. So we're now at 6 stitches. At the end of this round, we'll be at 12 stitches. I'm going to insert my hook in my first stitch. I like to crochet over my magic ring tail to make it nice and secure. So it's 1 single crochet, going back in the same one for a second single crochet. I'm going to stop here and put my stitch marker on the first stitch that I made to keep track of where I am. My second stitch, going in and doing 1 single crochet, going back in the same stitch for my second single crochet. Same thing in the third stitch, 1 single crochet, going back for 2. In the fourth stitch, again, 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. I like to pull my tail again after a couple of stitches, make sure the hole is nice and closed, and after that I don't have any trouble about my magic ring coming undone or anything. It's always nice and secure. So this is the fifth stitch, I'm going back for 2 single crochet in there, and finally the sixth stitch, 1 and 2. For round 3, we're going to do a pattern of 1 single crochet followed by an increase all around. So the first stitch will be 1 single crochet, and the second stitch is going to be an increase. That means 2 single crochet in this stitch. So 1 and 2, and we start that pattern over again. So the next stitch is 1 single crochet, and the next stitch is 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Next stitch is 1 single crochet. Next stitch is our increase, 1, going back for 2, again 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 and 2, next stitch 1 single crochet, next stitch or increase, 1 and 2. We should have 2 stitches left. Do 1 single crochet, the second to last stitch, and in our last stitch or increase, so 1 and 2. At the end of this round, our stitch count will be at 18. For round 4, we'll be doing a pattern of 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So in the first stitch, we'll be doing a single crochet, second stitch, another single crochet. In our third stitch, we'll be doing an increase, so 1 and 2. And repeat that around. So next stitch is 1 single crochet, in the next stitch 1 single crochet, and our next stitch is our increase, so 1, going back for a second stitch, once again 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch with an increase, 1 and 2, next stitch is a single crochet, next stitch is a single crochet, next stitch is our increase, 1 and 2, again 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, increase, 1 and 2. We'll have 3 stitches left. The next one is a single crochet, the next one is a single crochet, and we finish with our increase in the last stitch. And at the end of this round, our count stitch will be at 24. Our pattern for round 5 will be 3 single crochets followed by our increase. This is my first single crochet. I'm placing my stitch marker. In the second stitch, we're going to do another single crochet. In our third stitch, another single crochet. And in our fourth stitch, we'll be doing an increase. So 1 and 2. Once again, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, followed by our increase, 1 and 2. Oops. So 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch for 3, followed by an increase, 1 and 2 in the next stitch. So keep that pattern around, repeating 3 single crochets followed by your increase. And at the end of round 5, our stitch count will be up to 30 stitches. Round 6, we are continuing with our increases. This time we'll be doing 4 single crochets followed by an increase. It's my first stitch, my first single crochet in my first stitch, and I place my stitch marker there. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet for 2. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet for 3. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet for 4. And in the next stitch, our increase, 1 and 2. Again, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 4, followed by increase, 1 and 2 in the next stitch. One more time, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and 4 single crochet, followed by your increase, 1 and 2 in the same stitch. So continue that pattern all around, and at the end of this round, our stitch count will be at 36. Now for round 7, we'll be doing 5 single crochets followed by our increase. So in the first stitch, 1 single crochet, second stitch, 1 single crochet, third stitch, third single crochet, fourth stitch, 4 single crochet, fifth stitch, 5th single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In our next stitch, we'll be doing an increase, 1 and 2. Oops. There we go. So one single crochet in the next stitch, 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 one single crochet in the next stitch for 5, followed by increase 1 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by increase 1 single crochet, going back for a second one. So we're slowly building our mug, and at the end of this round, our stitch count will be at 42 stitches. For round 8, it's our second to last increase. We'll be doing 6 single crochets, followed by our increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then the next stitch, our increase. So 1 single crochet, going back in the same stitch for a second single crochet. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the next stitch, an increase. 1 and 2. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And in our next stitch, our increase. So 1 and 2. So continue that around until you have 48 stitches all around. So round 9 is our last increase round. Here we'll be doing 7 single crochets followed by our increase. This is my first single crochet. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Next stitch or increase. 1 and 2. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in the next stitch or increase. 1 and 2. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with an increase in the next stitch. So continue that all around, and at the end of this round, our stitch count will be at 54. So for rounds 10 to 16, we'll not be doing any increase. We're just going to simply single crochet around, 1 single crochet in each of our stitches all around, keeping our stitch count at 54 for round 10. And we're going to repeat that for round 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So for the next 7 rounds, we're simply going to do 1 single crochet in each of the stitch, keeping our stitch count at 54. And here's me back after round 16. I have 2 stitches left for round 16, and that's what your mug should be looking like. For round 17, we will start a decrease round. And the pattern we're going to follow is 7 stitches followed by a decrease. So this is my first stitch, placing my stitch marker. I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And using the next 2 stitches here, we're going to do a decrease. I like to do an invisible decrease. To do so, I grab the front loops only, grab the front loops only, don't loop around. Front loop only, insert in the first stitch, insert again in the second stitch through the front loops only, then yarn over in 2. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook and yarn over to 2 to finish your decrease. And again, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to insert our hook on the front loops only of the next 2 stitches. So this is the back loop I'm showing you. You want it on the front loop on the first stitch, insert your hook, the front loop of the second stitch, grab your tail, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over again, go through 2 to finish your invisible decrease. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Insert your hook on the front loops of the next 2 stitches, yarn over, go through 2 loops, and yarn over again. And if you continue the pattern around, we're going to decrease our stitch count and we'll be down to 48 stitches for this round. 18 is another decrease round. In this case, we'll be doing 6 single crochets followed by a decrease. So this is my first single crochet in the first stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once again, using the next 2 stitches, we're going to do an invisible decrease. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Insert your hook through front loops only in the next 2 to do a decrease. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and a decrease using the next 2 stitches. Continue that pattern all around, and at the end of this round our stitch count will be decreased to 42 stitches. Round 19 is our last decrease round. In this case we'll be doing 5 single crochets followed by a decrease. This is my first single crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and do a decrease in the next 2 stitch using the next 2 stitch, so 1 decrease using the next 2 stitches, and start that pattern again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a decrease. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, followed by our decrease. If you continue that all around, our stitch count at the end of this round will be down to 36 stitches. So round 20 is our last round for the mug body. And what we're going to do here is 1 single crochet all around, but through the front loops only. So just grab the front loops of the stitches and do 1 single crochet around the mug. Our stitch count will not move, it will stay at 36 for this round. I'm doing each stitch through the front loops only, keeping your stitch count at 36. Once you're done with round 20, you can cut your yarn. And I like to finish with an invisible finish. I'm just gonna grab a needle and thread my yarn into the needle. So the next stitch here, we're going to skip and insert our needle back to front to the next stitch, loop around and go back into our working stitch through the middle to create kind of fake loop, and pull a little bit so it's the same size as the other stitches. And that creates a nice invisible finish. I like to weave in my hands a little bit inside, make it nice and secure. And that's our mug body. Next, to create the handle, what we're going to do is start with a magic circle again, and we're going to do 6 single crochet in a magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull your tail close. Then for rounds 2 to 18, we're just going to do 1 single crochet per stitch, keeping our stitch count at 6 all around. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that was round 2. So repeat that pattern until you reach round 18. Just doing 1 single crochet per stitch, keeping your stitch count at 6 all around until it basically create a long tube. So at the end of round 18, it should look something like this. Now you can cut your yarn, leave a long tail for sewing. We're going to attach it to the mug body later. And that's your handle. Now for the ears, we're going to start with chaining 10. Do a slip knot here. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then we're going to go find our second chain from the hook. This is my second chain. And in the second chain, I'm going to do a single crochet. In the next stitch, in the next chain, we're going to do another single crochet. In the next chain, we're going to do half a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull a loop. You're going to have 3 on your hook, and we'll go through all 3. And repeat that 5 more times. So that's the second half double crochet. In total, we're going to have 6. 3. Next one, 4. Next one, 5. Next one, 6 half double crochet. Now should be back at the last chain, the beginning chain and first chain. And in this space, we're going to do 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. I like to crochet over my tail as well if I can. And now we're going to turn around, continue on the other side of the chain. And the other side of the chain, we're going to do 6 half double crochets in the next 6 stitches. So that's 1 half double crochet, that's 2 half double crochet, This one is the third one. 4, 5, and 6. I like to crochet over my tail. It's a little bit annoying, but it makes it nice and secure. And then you just have to cut it off later, and you don't have to weave it in. And next, we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. And we have one stitch left. We're going to do a slip stitch in this one. Now you can cut off your yarn, leave a tail for sewing again, and make a second one for the second ear. So for the eyes, I'm going to do them in purple just so you can see something, because black is not ideal. But I'm starting with a slip knot, and then I'm going to crochet 3. 1, 2, 3. I mean 3 chains, excuse me. So we're going to chain 3. We're going to find the second chain from the hook and do 1 single crochet. In the last chain, we're going to do 3 single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Then continuing on the other side, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Now we're going to find our first stitch, going backwards, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch to join to create an oval, and that's our eye. So you can create a second one, and you can cut the yarn, leaving a long tail again for attaching it to the mug. And here are my 2 that I created using black yarn. So next you'll want to make your coffee. And to make your coffee, it's really easy. You just repeat the mug instruction, rounds 1 to 6 until you have 36 stitches around. And here I'm going to show you how I do my latte swirl, if you will. So how I kind of, this one's a running slip stitch. But sometimes you can, if you've done it, you've attached already, you can embroider it as well. But I find it easiest just doing a slip stitch all around through the coffee. Kind of going in this circle, twirling motion all around. So here you can do any shape that you want. I've made hearts for Valentine's Day as well. I typically stick to the twirls, and when you're done, just weave your ends in and just weave it in to make it nice and secure. And then we're going to attach our mug, the coffee, to the mug body. So after you thread your yarn through your needle, you're going back to the mug, and we're going to find the back loops that were left. So in round 20, we crocheted in the front loops only. That's left a back loop on the inside of the mug. So go find those. There should be 36 back loops, as well as 36 stitches to your coffee. And you're just going to do stitching all around through the coffee and through the mug to the back loops of the mug here to secure your coffee in place. And do that until you're maybe 3/4 of the way done. And after that, we're going to stuff our mug and finish sewing everything in. So before I close everything, I'm going to stuff my mug. Make sure it's nice and stuffed, has a good round shape to it. And then we're going to finish closing it up before we attach the other parts. Next, find a good location for your handle. Find a design you like as well. I think I'm going to do mine as a kind of half heart shape here. You can do half moon as well, or anything, any creative thing you might think of. So I just go around and do the top and then weave my my yarn through the bottom and attach it with the same tail as well, the bottom. Once everything is securely attached, you can weave your yarn back and forth to the mug a couple of times and cut the extra yarn off. Next up, we're going to do the ears. So find a good spot for the ears. And again, just sew those into place. Obviously attach the second ear after as well. And next we're going to place the eyes on the mug. So find a good spot for the eyes or where you like them to be. I placed them basically very close to the same distance, I would say, to my ears on either side. Just again weaving through my yarn back and forth, stitching them into place. And next we're going to do the nose. So I'm going to grab a pink yarn and I'm going to place it kind of in between the two eyes. I'm going to try to do a triangle shape. Now you might be better than me at embroidering. I don't think I'm that good, and it takes me a lot of back and forth before I decide where to go and how to make a stitch. But here I just created a first of triangle shape, and then I'm gonna get my yarn back and forth, kind of stitching the template I just made, if you will, to fill in my triangle. If you are great at embroidering, let me know if you have some tips for me. I always feel like I struggle a little bit with this part. Sometimes I think it turns out great, sometimes I think it turns out okay. So yeah, let me know if you have any tips. So once I'm mostly satisfied with my nose, I'm gonna weave my tail in a little bit. I'm gonna go back to my original one and then kind of knot them the two together and push it back into the mug. So next we need to do the whiskers. Here I'm grabbing white yarn and I'm gonna do just the whiskers, just one line going up, and I did one line going down, and then kind of went back in between the two in the middle, do a smaller yarn, a smaller bit here of yarn to create the whiskers. So basically three strand of yarn to create my whisker. I think I put a little bit too tight here. Yeah, you can see my shape was dented a little bit, so I adjusted that, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now that I've done my whiskers on both sides, before I cut my yarn off, the last thing I want to do is add some pupils to my eyes. So I'm going to grab the same yarn and go back to the eyes and just stitch in a couple of stitches, embroidering a couple of stitches to create pupil and a little bit more life into our bunny mug. I'm just going back and forth a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times until I like it. And then move over to the other side. So here, since my other yarn was a little short, I got my other yarn that was still attached, cut it, leaving a tail, and grab this one to do the pupil, then join back to my other white tail. We're going to knot it together cut the yarn, and push it back into the bunny bag to finish. And here's what our bunny mug looks like, all finished with cute little embroidered nose. Tell me which one's your favorite, the the purple one, or the mint one? And if you are making one, tell me what color will you be making it in? So these two are all ready to go and decorate the Easter play kitchen. And more mugs are coming soon. I think my next video actually is a chick mug with a rooster variation. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe and keep watching. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.